Hi, it's John Terry with Vision Advisors, and I'm so glad you've taken some time out of your busy schedule to join us as we have an opportunity to talk about a product many of you may not have had an opportunity to look at or consider as an option when you're having conversations with your client about creating an annuity-based solution for them. But this is a product we believe deserves a second opportunity to take a look at. And if you've not yet seen it, it's going to be your first. But I want to encourage you to lean in for a few moments as you get an opportunity to see one of the most versatile annuities that we believe is available right now to serve a variety of needs for your clients. And who better to introduce that than our good friend from North American, Casey Lane. Casey, I'm so glad you're with us today. Let's have a conversation about VersaChoice.
Well, thank you very much, John. I appreciate that greatly, the wonderful introduction. More importantly, thank you for the opportunity to be here on the webinar today, as well as the partnership that Vision Advisors has with North American Company. And to you folks that are on our call today, thank you for joining us. You guys all have busy schedules, right? And obviously, as independent agents that work on commissions, you're not making money unless you're in front of clients and prospects. So for you to take 30 minutes or so out of your busy schedule and away from those clients and prospects is very much appreciated. And thank you to those of you who have written North American annuities over the years. So as John mentioned, today we are going to be talking about our top selling index annuity product, the VersaChoice. This was a $1 billion product for us last year, and it has been our top selling index annuity for 3 years running. And as John mentioned, really, as the name implies, this is a versatile index annuity product. It's not just singularly focused. This has multiple features, multiple benefits that you can really utilize for a number of different scenarios and clients' needs and wishes. And we're going to look at it really from two standpoints, and more importantly, how to position the product. And the first one is simply as that lazy money. Somebody has money just sitting on the sidelines, earning very minimal interest, and they want to get as much upside potential as they can without the risk of losing their principal. And you're going to see how the VersaChoice is one of the industry leaders in the accumulation space right now. And for those of you that maybe are into the assets under management style, if you will, we've also like to consider this, as a bond alternative for clients and prospects. And then we're going to look at it from what I like to call some peace of mind features. And all of these features or benefits revolve around enhanced liquidity. And this is via an optional rider that can be added. And again, I think you're going to find that the 4 benefits that this optional rider provides do provide the client some additional peace of mind features. Probably the most common question I get when I'm asked about our product portfolio, doesn't matter what product it is, but it's Casey, who's a prospect or who's a candidate for the VersaChoice product? Who should I be reaching out to discuss this product with? And the answer to that is very simple. And I'm going to answer it with the statement of who is not a prospect for this product. And really the only client or prospect that you probably don't want to approach to talk to about the VersaChoice is somebody that is looking for the guaranteed income. Now, don't get me wrong, any annuity, you can annuitize over your lifetime or a period certain, and you will get guaranteed income. But this product does not offer an income rider or a 6% compounding roll up to an income value. So yes, you can annuitize it and get lifetime income, but you'll find that there are other income type products or riders out there that will provide more guaranteed lifetime income. So that's the only person that I would say you do not want to really talk to or approach about the VersaChoice product. So we're going to look at it again from two standpoints. First, from an accumulation standpoint or growth or that bond alternative. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I'm an avid sports fan. My wife would say I'm a little too avid of a sports fan, but I do like sports. And since it's baseball season, I like to use some analogies. So when you look at the allocation team or the lineup of index allocation strategies that we have, you're going to find that we've got a total of 15 different index allocations that a client can put their premium into, right? Diversify if they want to. 13 of those are what we would call uncapped strategies, meaning we don't apply a cap to the upside potential. Now, keep in mind they're subject to either a participation rate or a margin or spread, but there's no cap to the amount that the client can earn. If right now you look at our illustrated rates, and on the next screen, I'll show you a rate spotlight sheet that does just that. But when you look at our rate spotlight sheet right now, when you look at the most recent 10-year illustrated rates, all 13 of those strategies are illustrating between 5.3 and 14.84% net to the policyholder. Now, it's almost a little embarrassing. I have to admit, some of these illustrated rates, not just with us, but with some other carriers, they're getting fairly significant. I can tell you, I wouldn't expect your client to expect to get 14% on average for 10 years. That's not what these things are designed to do. But based on the current rates, there are several strategies that are illustrating in the double digits. Now, I think a lot of carriers in today's interest rate environment can say somewhat similar things. I mean, they've got some strategies that are illustrating very well and some that are maybe not illustrating as well. So I like to take it even a step further. And what I like to do also is look at the lowest 10-year illustrated rates, not the most recent 10-year, but the worst 10-year illustrated rates if we look back over a 20-year period. Right now, 11 of those 13 are illustrating between 4.38 and again 14.84 in the worst 10-year illustrated time period. That's pretty strong. And let's take it one step further. And again, to use kind of a baseball statistic, if you will, there's a statistic that's called the WHIP, W-H-I-P. And unless you're an avid baseball fan, you have no idea what it is. You really don't care what it is, right? And it doesn't get really talked a lot like it does, like batting averages and RBIs. So it's one of those statistics that just kind of the baseball geeks talk about. Well, this is kind of similar in this scenario. And I want to share this statistic with you. When you look at the difference on those 13 strategies, when you look at the difference between the highest 10-year illustrated rates and their lowest 10-year illustrated rates, on 9 of the 13, that difference is less than 3%. Let me repeat that, because again, I think this is an important statistic we don't share enough. Of those 13 uncapped strategies, when you look at the difference between the best 10-year illustrated rates to the worst 10-year illustrated rates, the difference on 9 of those 13 is less than 3%. Now, I have not compared every single competitor out there. I can't tell you exactly how everybody stacks up, but I can tell you based on the competition in the accumulation space, I can't tell you anybody else that has that many strategies where the difference between the worst and best illustrated rates is less than 3%. I know some companies have 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 4 where there's that difference, and then the gap is much greater. On 9 of those 13, that difference is less than 3%. I think that's a very important statistic, even more important than what's the current illustrated rates. So I guess my bottom line here when it comes to the lineup, if you will, is, if you want to go all in on that 1 or 2 best players or best strategy, take the chance, roll the dice, if you will. We're not going to win that game because there are some companies out there that have higher illustrated rates on a strategy or 2 or 3. But if you want to do what any good coach would do and you want to spread out that playing time between 4, 6, or 10 different players, I'm going to challenge you to find a better team with as strong of a lineup as North American has when it comes to indices and credited rates. I don't think anybody has as strong of a lineup. So my whole point is when that 1 or 2 players, let's use baseball as an analogy. I guess as a coach, let me ask you this. If you were a baseball coach, would you rather have 2 or 3 Ken Griffey Juniors and 6 scrubs on the team, or would you rather have 6 or 7 Ichiro Suzuki's and 2 or 3 Ken Griffey Juniors on your team? I know the answer to that one. I would choose the 7 or 8 Ken Griffey's or Ichiro Suzuki's and then a couple of Ken Griffey's. That's what we have here on the Versa Choice when it comes to our index lineup. And they're not uncommon names. I mean, we don't have strategies that, it takes you 3 breaths to get the name out. Nobody's ever heard of the index family. We've got the S&P 500. We have Fidelity and Morgan Stanley. Those are the 3 index families that we have offerings on here within our product. Household names, everybody knows who they are. And you know what? If you weren't happy with how your last year strategies performed or went, you've got 30 days from your policy anniversary to reallocate those in any way, shape, or form that you want to. And you know what those renewal rates will be before you make those changes. You'll get your annual statement. You'll have 30 days from that point then to make any allocation changes, and you'll know exactly what your renewal rates will be on each strategy for that following year. All right, so here's the lineup. This is that rate spotlight sheet I mentioned to you. There's a lot of numbers on here. I'm not going to go through these line by any means. When I was quoting the 13 uncapped and all of them are illustrating between et cetera, I was over here on our high band illustrated rates. So if you've got $75,000 or more of premium, those are the strategies, those are the rates I was looking at. And of course, we're in sales and marketing, so we're going to use the better ones. I think you'll notice even the difference between the high band illustrated rates and the low band illustrated rates. There's not that much of a difference. The rate difference is not that much. Now, I do want to point out a couple of strategies here for you because these are relatively newer to the indices, probably within the last 2, maybe 3 years at the most. But as you all know, up until about 5 months ago, we were still in an historically low interest rate environment. My, how things have changed since then. I can tell you on this product alone, since February, we have had 5 rate increases. Yes, you heard that correctly. 5 rate increases on the Versa Choice product since February. Things have changed dramatically. Now, we're not the only ones that have increased rates. You know, every carrier across the board has had rate increase. I can't tell you of anybody that's had 5 since February. I know there's a couple that have had 2. I think one company's had 3. Again, 5 rate increases just since February. But I want to point out about the bottom third of this page. And I'm not going to go through super detail here, but you'll notice these strategies, if you notice the green highlight, annual point-to-point with enhanced participation rate. What that means is you can, Mrs. Prospect, buy up by paying a fee, you can buy up a higher level of potential opportunity and potential gains. That fee, and I apologize, and John, I apologize to you as well. For some reason, I have not updated this with the June 14th rate increase, or June, whatever last Tuesday was. I apologize. That was when our last rate increase went into effect. So these rates are lower than what they should be. And you'll see this 1.5% annual strategy charge. That is actually now 95 basis points. In addition to raising the rates on this product, we decreased that fee to buy up that level of participation. It is 95 basis points. I do apologize. So let's take a look here exactly what that means, Casey. So I'm paying a fee to get more opportunity. So if we look at the annual point-to-point fidelity up here, let's go to the high band. Currently, with no fee, you're going to get 115% participation. If you want to pay that 95 basis point fee on that same strategy, that's going to get you now 175% participation. So you're paying that fee, but you're buying up, in this case, an additional 60% participation. And you can see on your illustrated rates what a difference it actually does make. 5.3 versus 7.35 net to the client. Well, actually, that's a little greater. Again, I apologize. So you do have 4 options where, again, you can pay a fee and get a higher level of participation. Do you have to allocate to those strategies? Absolutely not. If you do allocate to those strategies, just note that there is a nice little peace of mind feature that at the end of the 10 years, this is a 10-year surrender charge contract. At the end of the 10 years, if the fee that has been charged for those strategies is greater than the interest that was credited to your contract, we'll true you up and make you whole to the premium you put in the contract. So if you put in $100,000 and let's say you allocate it to one of those fee for rate strategies all 10 years and the market did absolutely nothing, obviously your $100,000, because you are paying a fee, your $100,000 has been going down every year by 95 basis points. At the end of that 10th year, you're going to have less than the $100,000 you put in. But this true up feature we have basically will say, we'll guarantee that your account value at the end of the 10th year, in this case, will equal $100,000. So again, it's a nice peace of mind feature to know that worst case scenario, I'm going to at least get the premiums I put in back at the end of that 10 years to my account value. Again, you don't have to allocate premium to this. You're not forced into these strategies. You can allocate 100% to any one of them or all four of them, or you can put 2% in any one. You can do whatever you want. Just know that it's an option, but there is a fee that is going to reduce your account value based on how much premium you do allocate to those strategies. Just a couple of our sample illustration. This is not, please keep in mind, this is not the full illustration. I took just some snippets of an illustration, but I just wanted to show you that yes, we do have several strategies that are showing very well. Again, double-digit type returns. We're big believers in diversification. I encourage you to not put all your eggs in one basket, even within an index annuity. Do some diversification. You'll notice here on this one, I allocated to 5 different strategies. None of these are the fee for rate strategies. So there's no fees coming out of this. This is all just strategies where we don't charge to buy up a level of participation. And you'll notice here's just a quick example of putting $250,000 in on a 65-year-old. Here you'll see the annual effective rate, most recent 10-year illustrated rates using those 5 strategies, 8.26%. That's with some diversification. Again, that's not going all in one bucket. That's with diversification. And obviously you can see how the numbers grow. They grow pretty significantly. And then you can just kind of compare again the worst 10 years, the best 10 years. And look at this, even in this example with diversification, the difference between your highest 10 years, 10.82, and your lowest right at that 3% mark. Again, a strong lineup of strong performing indices. So again, from an accumulation standpoint, yes, you probably will find a strategy or two out there that are going to illustrate better than what we've got, but it's not just about the one or two. It takes a team to win games, not just one or two players. So make sure that those other carriers have other strategies that you can pivot to when those 1 or 2 or 3 don't perform very well. Okay, let's take a look now at the VersaChoice from a liquidity standpoint. This is where those peace of mind additional features and benefits come into play. So there is an optional rider that you can purchase. It's called the Optional Enhanced Liquidity Benefit Rider, or ELB rider. Again, I refer to it as the Peace of Mind Benefit Rider because I think you will agree that each of these 4 benefits provided by this one rider do provide additional layers of peace of mind for the client. Now, this will cost 60 basis points. That is an annual fee. That does come out, if you do add this rider, that does come out every single year for the life of the policy. It is revocable, meaning anytime after the first year, if you decide that, or your client decides they don't need or want these benefits any longer, we can take the rider off and we will stop charging the 60 basis point fee. You can't add it back on once it's off, and you do have to add it at the time of issue. You can't decide 2 or 3 years down the road that you want these features. You have to add it at the time of issue. By the way, the VersaChoice will issue up through age 79, and these benefits are all available up through that age as well. There's no lower minimum age for any of the benefits. Again, 60 basis points. And I think even after just seeing how this thing illustrates, 60 basis points is a very minimal fee, in my opinion, for the features that the client gets for the 60 basis points. So the first one, we'll start up at the upper left, enhanced penalty-free withdrawal. So the contract does allow you to take 10% of your premium in the first year if you need it or want it. So if you give us $100,000 in the first year, if you need or want up to $10,000, you can take up to $10,000 without a penalty. If you don't use that in the first year, day 1, year 2, you can take 20% of that beginning year accumulation value. So let's just say for simplicity that your account value went up 5%. You've got $105,000 in there now. So in that example, you can take 20% of that $105,000, again, if you need it or want it. If you do take any penalty-free withdrawal in that second year, then in the third year, it will revert back to a 10% penalty-free. If you don't use it in the third year, in the fourth year, you can take again 20%. So basically every other year, you can get 20% of your account value penalty-free. Now, that's probably more sizzle than it is steak, but I'll tell you what, I've heard some pretty ingenious ways to utilize that feature. Some of the more common ones are, I remember somebody mentioning, hey, Casey, I've got some clients that they like to take a nice vacation every year, But what they really want to do is their grandkids are a little older. They'd really like to just, maybe take the grandkids somewhere with them every year or go on a nicer vacation every other year with the grandkids. That's a perfect example of how they can utilize this enhanced penalty free, taking 20% out every other year to meet that need or that wish. Another one I've heard is, hey, I've got some, grandparents that would like to help pay for their grandkids' college education. Again, every other year, take 20% out, and help pay for, 2 years of schooling or half the college or whatever it might be. And then probably the most common, and I'm not sure, I'm assuming it pertains to some of you here on the call, but for those of you that are doing some assets under management, AUM type business, this will give you an opportunity to rebalance the client, if the market dictates that you could do it. So you can take, again, 20% of your annuity out and go back into the market and kind of rebalance their portfolio. Kind of the opposite of what we're preaching today, right? We're preaching, hey, hopefully it's not too late for some of your clients, because I can tell you what my 401k has done this year, and it's not pretty. But before it's way too late, let's rebalance, let's reposition some of your AUM assets over here into this annuity, and let's guarantee some of those gains that you've made in the last 10, 12 years. So this is just kind of the opposite. You can rebalance back out into the market. Again, just some ideas or some thoughts on how you can use that. The second benefit on the upper right is a return of premium benefit. And that basically is exactly what it says. Anytime after the third contract year, if you need or want your premium back, worst case scenario, we will give you 100% of the premium you put in the contract. So you give us $100,000, and in the fourth year, you say, hey, I want to go on a worldwide tour, or I want to get into this nice new shiny thing over here. Worst case scenario, we'll give you $100,000. So we do give you the fee back as well. I mean, we're not keeping the fee that we've charged, that 60 basis points, and it's actually the greater of your cash surrender value or premiums paid. So if you've had a couple of good years in there, and your cash surrender value after surrender charges is still greater than what you put in, you're going to get that value. Again, you're going to get the greater of cash surrender value or your premiums paid. Again, another nice what if peace of mind benefit for that client, regardless of what it is they need or want it for, just to know that they can get all of their money back, worst case scenario, anytime after the third year. All right, the last two, oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, about just under a third of VersaChoice policies that are issued add the rider. So about a third of the contracts do add this rider. The rest is just kind of, again, just more of a pure accumulation play, just to give you an idea. The last two benefits, these are first to market features. As far as I have seen, and again, I haven't looked at every single competitor out there, but we are the only carrier that offers these specific benefits. And these are both activities of daily living based benefits. Now, let me preface this with, I know some of you probably sell standalone long-term care insurance. You do the asset-based, or hybrid type policies where you have, an annuity or life and long-term care type benefit, the one America's out there, if you will. And I know some of you do life insurance with living benefits in addition. So please don't think that I want you to go out and cancel those policies and replace those types of products with the VersaChoice and these benefits. That's not what this is meant to be. You know as well as I do that those products are better suited for clients in those scenarios that need those types of benefits. But just know, and I know you do know, that you do have to go through underwriting to get those other products and features and benefits, right? I mean, you got to give blood, urine, APSs, all that stuff. The only knockout question, if you will, on the VersaChoice to get these two ADL-based benefits is on the disclosure, there is a statement that says, at this time, I can perform all 6 activities of daily living. Yes, no. If the client checks yes, they get these ADL-based benefits. If they check no, they don't get the ADL-based benefits, but they still get the enhanced penalty-free withdrawal and return of premium. It's that simple. No other underwriting involved. So again, I would almost guarantee you, I'm not a gambling man by nature, but I would almost guarantee that most, if not all of you, are having just as many conversations with clients today about the what ifs of their future health or health care, or how am I going to pay for this if something happens, as you are about them having concerns about outliving their income in retirement. And if you're not having conversations with clients, it should be a concern. unless that client has that crystal ball and knows they're going to live to 162 years old, they're not going to need it for assisted living or anything like that, right? Nobody has the crystal ball. I'm sure most people are concerned about the what ifs of their future health. This is a nice way to give them that peace of mind that if something does happen, they've got some benefits that they can utilize. So the first one, the ADL-based surrender charge waiver, is simple. Anytime after issue, if that client cannot perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, they can access their account value surrender free, no charges whatsoever. You want 20% out, get 20. You want 40, get 40. You don't need to take it if you don't want it. You can utilize it as much as you want, but just know that your surrender charges are waived if anytime after issue you cannot perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living. Now, some of you might be thinking, "Hey, Casey, that's okay, but you know what? Don't most annuities have that type of a rider?" Well, most annuities do have, baked in or built in the nursing home or long-term care rider, which requires confinement to a qualified care facility for a period of time before surrender charges are waived. And I'm not a long-term care expert, but I don't think you just go from being healthy to all of a sudden you're confined in a long-term care facility. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's stages that you go through before you get to that point, and one of them typically is that you aren't able to perform 2 of 6 ADLs. And I do get the question, well, so Casey, does that include cognitive impairment or terminal illness? If you have a written physician statement that says you cannot perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, these benefits are available. Nothing to do specifically with cognitive impairment or terminal illness. It's an ADL-based waiver. The second one is an enhanced payout of the account value over a 5-year period. I'll repeat that. The second ADL-based benefit is an enhanced payout of your accumulation value over 5 equal payments. And you can see here on the screen the actual the schedule of enhancements. Now notice this feature is available starting in the 3rd contract year. So in the 3rd contract year, if you can't perform 2 of 6 ADLs, and if you want to trigger this benefit, we'll pay you 110% of whatever your account value is at that point in time over 5 equal payments if you can't perform 2 of 6 ADLs. If you want to wait till the 4th year to trigger this benefit, we'll pay you 115% of whatever your account value is over 5 equal payments. Year 5, it's 120%. And if you want to wait to max this thing out, starting in the 6th year or beyond, anytime you want to trigger that benefit, we'll pay you 125% of whatever your account value is at that point in time. So the nice thing about this is that, let's say, for example, all of a sudden in the 3rd year, you can't perform 2 of 6 ADLs. You're not forced to use this benefit. You don't have to trigger this, because basically what you're doing here with the enhanced payout is you're annuitizing over 5 years, and the contract at that point is done. There's no more deferral. So you're annuitizing over 5 years. You don't have to take that. You don't have to trigger this right then and there. If you want to, use the ADL-based waiver. Remember that you have surrender charge free access to your account value if you can't perform 2 of 6 ADLs. So if you need some money or want some money, maybe take it out of just take a little penalty free or a withdrawal, to get you by, and then in the 6th year, max that out. Again, 125% of whatever your account value is at that time, we will pay you, or a named beneficiary, over 5 payments. So if you happen to pass away, or your client, let's say after the 3rd payment, your named beneficiary will receive 2 more payments of the same dollar amount. So we will pay out 5 payments to you or a named beneficiary. And if you think about it, think about a 5-year, I don't know how many of you do immediate annuities, but right now, well, I think rates have been coming up, but 6 months ago, there were very few carriers that were even issuing 5-year period certain immediate annuities, because you were losing money. You give us $100,000, you might get back $99,000. I don't know what it is now. I haven't ran a 5-year immediate annuity illustration, but I can tell you, we're not going to pay you 5% a year over 5 years like you do in this example. Again, in the 6th year, we'll pay you 125% of your account value over 5 equal payments. I like to call that feature the play with the insurance company's money, because that's exactly what you're doing. So again, that's the Versa choice from a enhanced liquidity. I'm hopeful that you guys agree that this one rider that provides these 4 additional benefits does provide some true additional peace of mind for your client. And I can't tell you how many times after I do a presentation, somebody will raise their hand and say, "Hey, Casey, how much was that return of premium benefit again? Or how much was the ADL surrender waiver cost me?" It's the one rider, 60 basis points, all for benefits. So that brings us to a conclusion for the VersaChoice with versatility. Accumulation, again, an industry leader in the accumulation space. If I'm not mistaken, our industry has shifted the last 3 or 4 years to more of an accumulation-based sale than an income. I know income is still important. A lot of income sales are still being made, but we are seeing a trend towards more accumulation sales. This is an industry leader in the accumulation space. And remember, the full lineup of strong performing strategies. And then we just saw the VersaChoice in its versatility state with the enhanced liquidity benefit rider, the peace of mind benefit rider. So here's my only ask of you folks. My only ask ever is give us an opportunity to earn some of your annuity business. When you come across that client that just says, "Hey, I got some money sitting in a CD earning 50 basis points. What can you do better for me? You know, that I have more upside potential, but I don't want to risk losing any of it." You know, call John, give us a call here at North American on our sales desk. Let us run an illustration for you and let us show you how that VersaChoice competes with not only those other safe type products, but those other accumulation index products out there as well. And John, with that, I will turn it back over to you and thank you all again for your time today. It's very much appreciated. Thank you for the opportunity to earn some of your annuity business.
Absolutely. Casey, I want to say thank you. We appreciate the unique relationship we have with North American, and we've had that for a long time. Folks, I think you saw in the presentation today the versatility of this program. And if you've got an opportunity to look at something unique that gives your clients some extra bang for the buck, great opportunity. So what I'd encourage you to do is to reach out to us the next time you've got an accumulation opportunity, someone that's wanting to have that conversation around the LTC, the ADL issue, or they're just looking for a way to grow some money. Let's have a conversation and we'll run an illustration on VersaChoice, let you see how that may have an opportunity to solve your client's money problem. On behalf of all of us here at Vision Advisors, I want to say thank you for joining us. Our number, 800-505-8489, 1-800-505-8489. Feel free to reach out to us and let us run an illustration for VersaChoice and give you an opportunity to see how this solution can help you solve your client's money problems today. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.